This is a 3/8 inch bolt. Passes through what's called the kingpin. Goes like that, so you make your own stem. The thread on this probably needs to be repaired. Use like a helicoil for at least the two in the front, or rather the player side. But to get these all locking casters on, I'm going to need probably put some tilters on the outside. Less for tilting and more for leveling. Likely going to need at least a 1 inch, maybe a 1.5 inch spacer. I don't think a larger wheel would have done anything. It just needs space between here and the casting. So it has original 3-inch casters, but the difference is where the kingpin and the axle are. The axle on this is closer to the kingpin, so it makes the wheel a smaller turning diameter, which passes by down here. See, this one just barely makes it. I think with the proper spacer, this will just barely make it past the rocker arm. One possibility for future consideration, instead of using a simple post where the kingpin is, make an offset post, basically just adding a bit to the base casting and then making a new hole farther away. I think that'd be the best solution, but definitely not the easiest. I'll try the easiest first, because I'm going to need to make at least 4 spacers just for the front wheels. Keep calling them the front, call them the player side. Other observations, I think the roller where the cam meets is going to need to be turned a little bit or even replaced. I'm definitely going to replace the bearing inside of there, so if it doesn't have a bearing, I'll make a whole new bearing assembly. Have some sort of serial number up here on the front. I'm just going to call it the front for now on, just keep up. All right, 75057. Wonder if that means made in 1957. From what I understand, these came from a university in Alabama. Not quite sure which one. Again, the to-do list is figure out how to get tilters on here. I'm not really comfortable making the thread here any bigger. We have less than 1 inch on the casting. Might be able to get away with a 1/2 inch or a 7/16 inch thread going through there. 1/2 inch would make it easier to make tilters for this. Another thought, future process, is figure out a way to secure the ratchet, which is in good condition. It's not razor sharp or anything, but it's good. It would be to figure out, again, a way to support the ratchet, because one of the things that happens, or so I've been told, is the ratchet wears out, or at least the holes that mount them wear out and go this way. I think one easy fix would be either to weld a bit down here. You know what, bring the camera in. So where the ratchet meets the hanger arm on newer style timpani, maybe starting with the Mark 7s or even the Mark 11s. See if I can do this. There we go. Right here, I'm thinking of adding some material and then putting a set screw so you can push this back up. The drums that I have, the Mark 14s made in '93, had a set screw right there. The one that I rebuilt and made into a Mark 14, which I'll post some pictures on Facebook and links to stuff about that, had the shelf, we'll call it, right here, but didn't have the set screw. So I added that, and that actually made it really easy to adjust what we'll call the alignment of the ratchet, because this is in one diameter plane and this pedal and paw might be in another one. What you need is for where it pivots here and contact is made there, that diameter needs to match the ratchet exactly. Otherwise, you have a very common problem where it might be closer up here, farther down here. Common symptom of that is where this sits. So if it's closer up at the top, or whichever direction, this is gonna be farther out. And it's gonna go farther in as the ratchet falls away. Again, you can just see some up close of the condition here. I'm not too worried about the pedal arm. I'm not, why I can't remember the pivoting shaft. This bit right here, I'm gonna get rid of that maybe, or remake another one. I don't know. I need to figure out some gauge parts. You can see the let's see if we can focus. There we go. The roller bearing, or the roller ball, or the follower, the roller follower, all kinds of different names. Looks a little rough. And this right here, plan to maybe drill and ream that out for a better axle, replace that all together. Let's see if we can see the cam. There we go. The cam looks fairly good. Let me see if I can move the pedal. Yeah, good bit of dust. Might be a slight flat spot on that, but I can take care of that with some files. It's held on with the Allen bolts. At some point they stopped welding them and actually started screwing them on. Nice thing about that is I could switch between German and American if I just took these 4 bolts out and switched everything from the top and over to this casting. And I might do that, I might not, I'm not quite sure yet. Spider looks great. It's really in good condition. Looks almost like the modern castings. I don't think they made any changes to those. It's gonna get the paint cleaned, repainted. That's the only aluminum part, the rest is steel. One question I have is, why did they put a nut on this barrel nut here? That's not something I've actually ever seen. Probably not gonna change it. It probably keeps it centered maybe, I don't know. I might remove some of this material here in the back, just kind of Dremel it off before we paint. Give a little more clearance. I don't plan to change the angle any means, but anything that can be improved, why not? Especially if it's easy. Speaking of, one thing I do want to do, I'm planning to mill that off flat. That area right there you see gouged, and put a piece of hardened steel down there, either with Loctite or screws, or maybe even a hard bronze. I'm gonna go see what I have on my modern drums, see if it helps. Another thing I could do if I really wanted to is shave a little bit off the end of the rocker arm. There's no real reason to have it there, at least not that far out. Anyway, this is Daniel, your tinkering timpanist, signing off.